undeniable influence of my Aztec or grandmother. Remembering my origins and the miscegenation in my family, when I speak of the Aztecs, I do so with the certainty of knowing that I am a direct descendant of those people who laid the first stones for the founding of the great Tenochtitlan. I was fortunate to have been born like many Mexicans, sharing two cultures, on the one hand the Mexica, on the other the Spanish. I cannot deny that a part of my being is of Spanish origin, since I would be denying the other half of my mother's family, since they are descendants of Spaniards. I was born in the middle of the 20th century, and I grew up listening to my paternal grandparents, my uncles, and other family members, talking about my ancestors in the Nahuatl language. And despite the fact that the Spanish culture was of great importance, the Nahuatl culture, which is the culture of my father's family, my uncles, and my paternal grandparents, had a great influence on my formation as a Mexican. For many years, I had the desire to leave some written vestige that would tell the stories of my ancestors, stories that for many years I had been hearing from my or grandmother. Well, in my father's family, it was a deeply rooted custom that the Aztec or Aztec women, whether they were mothers or grandmothers, in the afternoons or at night, they sat in front of a Tenochtitlan or Tlacuil. They did so with the purpose to transmit the knowledge of their stories. In this way, those holy women could transmit to their children and grandchildren those stories that had already been told so many times for generations. I also want to mention that, in my father's family, my grandmother Agustina Texoyotl kept some very old documents that spoke of the customs and events of the people of Aztec origin. Thanks to these documents, today, I can support myself with firmness and certainty, to be able to tell the stories of my grandmother. Even my mother, being of Spanish descent, spoke the Aztec language of my father fluently out of habit. From all of them, I heard in the Nahuatl language, great stories of our ancestors, stories that will never be known by any other means, be it history books or documentaries. And although due to the forced use of Spanish language, and with the passing of time I have been forgetting part of the Nahuatl language, I have not forgotten the stories that my paternal grandparents told me during the first years of my life. Also, I think it is appropriate to mention that some relatives, especially brothers-in-law, are from communities in the Sierra de Puebla mountain range. In those communities, until the first quarter of the 21st century, Nahuatl was still spoken as the official language, since many of those people had not abandoned their ancient customs. I also think it prudent to mention that the young people of many communities in the mountain range of Puebla, in an effort to have substantial progress that will help them get out of the recalcitrant poverty they still suffer from, have dared to leave their communities. Their audacity has been such that many of them, without speaking Spanish or English, have emigrated to the United States. In such a way that their children were born in that country, and have been learning the language and customs that are typical of the northern country. In this way, what the Aztecs did not do, modern Mexicans are doing, since the Nahuatl language has also emigrated to distant lands. Returning again to the path of my origins, and with humility, I think it is necessary to mention that with my stories I may be the last descendant of that haughty race that once dared to form an empire. If you liked my video, please leave a comment, give it a like and subscribe to my channel. In this way you help me to continue uploading more videos to the network.